Holy shit, guys. Today is my 39th birthday. I've been up since about 5:30 this morning, hands on keyboard by 5:35 with a cup of coffee in my hand, editing this really cool little promotional film for the sanitation department of the city of Cincinnati. Really coming along powerfully. I'm very, very stoked with that. I sent the draft off to the client. Hopefully they're happy. So let's do just a quick recap of everything that went down last year. Lost my job, started a business, went to Hawaii, bought our first house, moved, planned a wedding, got married, renovations. Jesus, man. There's been a lot going on. I was thinking this morning about all the things that I've learned in the last 15, 20 years that I really wish I would have known and really latched onto when I was younger. Most of the things I would say to my younger self are things that other people said to me at that age that just really didn't sink in. I'm like that. Sometimes you gotta tell me 3, 4, 5 times something before it really just starts gelling and it permeates my thick skull. But when it does, it really takes hold. So in this video, I think it's a good idea to talk about the 5 things that I would absolutely go back in time to tell my former self. Hypothetically, time travel is to tell younger Brad and you guys all the things that I wish I would have done earlier to get to my current level of success that much faster. And the first thing I would tell my younger self, probably the most important one, but we'll just put it right here at the beginning, is you have to look at your health and your fitness first. It wasn't all that long ago, I was pretty terribly obese. I'm 5'5", and I had worked my way up to about 220 pounds through just eating like shit. I never exercised. I had no interest in any of that. Just ate whatever I wanted, let the pounds pack on, to the point where I woke up one day and I couldn't even see my Getting to the point where you can have a dialed diet and a good exercise regimen isn't something that happens overnight. There's a lot to learn there. Really just best to get on a path where you're doing something toward advancing yourself, not sitting down and eating an entire bag of chips, not staying out and drinking all the time, not being so just physically lazy, and making sure you get some kind of physical activity in at least 5 or 6 times a week. There is a negative stigma with people who are obese and overweight. People assume that you treat other aspects of your life the same way that you treat your body. Right, wrong, indifferent? That's just a fact, and I'm not here to argue whether that's right or wrong. I'm here to let you know that is a fact. People, guys particularly, who take better care of themselves are way more attractive to future dates, and I was actually about 30 pounds overweight still when I met Nick, but I was actively working on that. So the first thing on the list that I would tell younger Brad is just to start paying better attention to what you're putting into your body and how you're treating it, because you need this body to last you for the next 50 to 60 years longer if you're lucky. So go to the fucking gym, bro, start eating a bunch of chicken breasts, and start making some actual gains in and out of the gym. Number 2 thing I would say to my younger self, you gotta stop partying so much. I've never really been a huge drinker. I was a social drinker in college. I always had awful hangovers. I'm just not a good drunk. When I get drunk, I am that guy. Just gets kind of depressed at a certain point, and I just want to be left alone. A little bit of alcohol I'm okay with. What I'm talking about here is excess. I used to chase excess so much in everything that I did, in playing music, in partying and dating, just across the board. In the food that I was eating, just excess. I feel like a lot of those hungover days could have been spent doing something a lot more productive with my time. All that alcohol over time leads to hangovers, anxiety, mood changes, addictions. I started out pretty young, smoking pot in high school. And I experimented with other things too as I was growing up. But then what happened later on in life, when I hit really low points, and I knew there was something out there that could make me even just temporarily feel better, I would find it. When this started becoming a problem, it had to be arrested. So my recommendation to my younger self, number 2, is going to be stop partying and stop relying on any substance outside of yourself to help make you feel better. That said, I did go to NA for a number of years. It was phenomenally helpful, and I absolutely recommend anybody who has any kind of addiction seek group therapy. Seeking help when you have an addiction is one of the only ways to actually kick it. Nick has something planned. I know there's more people coming over than she's letting on because there's a ton of food.
It was my birthday, Dad.
The third thing that I would tell my younger self is, bro, you need to start building your empire earlier. So in my professional life, I have had all kinds of jobs. It's run the gamut. I've had a few different career changes in my life, and most recently, I started a content creation business. This is where I belong. I should have done this forever ago because my degree is actually in film and television production. A lot of people don't even know that. I always really just enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process and the editing. Being able to turn this into a business is one of my greatest accomplishments so far. In the 12-month time period, I'm back up to making my old salary. Now, there was times when I was younger where I dabbled in this, where I'd get a video job or two, or I'd start making videos, and I never really pushed it too far. A lot of those projects I didn't finish, even though I really liked them. There was a time in college where a buddy of mine had signed this local construction company. We went in, we did all the pre-pro, then it came down to scheduling the time. We just basically didn't follow up. Younger Brad should have seen the potential out there. I recommend that you start your own business as early as possible. Every single day that you do something to further that objective. So I heard this quote a few years ago that really kind of summarized what I would say to young Brad next, that your passions point you to your purpose. Growing up, I was always super into music and movies. This is my jam, super common. Everybody likes those things for the most part. But in my case particularly, I went all in, from writing music, making music, playing out. All that was super great. On the other side, movies, filmmaking, emotional, visual, content creation, all this stuff, it was kind of where I should have been from the start. If I remember correctly, it actually came through my dad. So I was living in Ohio, working this dead-end job at this awful little basement apartment. I was just working and trying to keep my bills paid. I talked to my dad, and my dad always lived in Wilmington. I summered down here my entire life. Every holiday, every chance we got, Dad always tried to get us together. He calls one day, and we hadn't talked as much as we had in previous years. He made a really awesome point, and he basically said, "Bud, what are you doing up there? I live 10 minutes from the beach. Be glad to put you through local college because I've had residency down here." In all honesty, it kind of came down to beaches, babes, and get the hell out of the town that I was in. So thanks, Dad. That step, huge. Younger Brad and much older Brad both really appreciate that push that you gave me. And then when it came to picking what to go to school for, nobody had ever really asked me that before. They always just said, "What are you going to do with your life? What are you going to do for a living?" And I had no answer for that. Nobody ever took the time to ask me what I liked or what I wanted to learn about. So I was clueless. Dad asked me the same question, and I tell him "Oh yeah, I really don't know," was my answer. And he out of nowhere is "Hey, you're always watching these DVD commentaries and special features and stuff like that. You know there's film schools here in town, right? And young Brad lit up. That's what brought me back to Wilmington, where I was originally born, and that's what has ultimately led to me starting my business, furthering my skills in videography and editing, starting this YouTube channel, and everything else. Again, thanks, Dad. Fucking great idea, dude. But the point there is that I was always super passionate about this one thing, creation. And eventually the love that I've always had for that has brought me to my true purpose, which is now to grow this company. Your passions point you to your purpose. Last tip, young Brad. What I would recommend you do more than anything else is to take more risks. But there's been a lot of things in your life where you have weighed your options, weighed the risks, and people in your life told you to take the safe route and to make sure you have a backup and make sure you have enough money and don't go into debt and don't take the risky road. What I'm gonna tell you here, son, when you're young, it's time to take those risks. It's time to ask out the prettiest girl in the room. It's time to take a chance on yourself with your creative endeavors. It's a time to really relish in the fact that you have a ton of time in front of you and that nothing is unfixable, even if it doesn't go quite the way you wanted it to go. Man, a lot of it's not going to go the way you want it to go anyway. So you might as well just take the risks earlier. I mean that when it comes to starting your own business, to the type of women that you're willing to approach, to just being confident in yourself, even when you don't feel confident. Don't let anybody tell you you're not good enough, you don't deserve it, or that move's too risky. Because the only moves you're ever gonna regret are the ones that you don't take. Failure is a learning opportunity. Embrace failure and learn how to fail quickly. You got this. Even if it doesn't work out, everything is fixable. Guys, thank you so much for coming back to the channel after not posting for so long. I am so excited to dive headfirst back into this again. I have no idea what type of format that's going to be because I literally spend 12 to 14 hours a day editing video right now. This will obviously put even more on my plate, but I am hyper passionate about letting other guys know everything that I said in this video so you can make smarter choices sooner than I did and find success in your family life, in your relationships, in your business endeavors, in your careers, in your fitness, just everything. So guys, I am Brad, a not so single dad. I hope you guys are happy, you're healthy, and you're going on the dates as often as you can. Thank you for watching. Make sure you throw me a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're brand new here. There will be a shitload of new content all across the board during 2023, and I cannot fucking